#InfoLection 2024.
I'm Katie Shilton. I'm a professor at the Info College at the University of Maryland, College Park, and I want to talk about people studying elections online. So there is an increasing amount of our activity around elections happens online now. We get information about parties, about we get ads, and we talk to each other, right, about what's happening in the election. We do all of this on digital platforms. Social scientists need to be able to study these platforms to understand how they influence what we're seeing, what we're talking about, maybe even our decisions. But the ethics of studying people on digital platforms and how they use those platforms turns out pretty tricky. Studying some of the information that's on these platforms around elections can be pretty straightforward. You can think about advertisements, right? Campaigns are paying for ads. Studying those ads is kind of like studying a newspaper used to be. Pretty uncontroversial. But we are also having a lot of discussions online with each other. And it used to be that to study people's discussions, you had to get consent. But research ethics in the United States are based on principles of respect for persons, which has generally been translated as getting people's consent before you study them, as well as beneficence and justice. But now, tons of discussions and conversations are available online. People's sort of personal discussions and conversations. You don't have to ask for permission if you're a researcher to study those conversations. But should you, or when should you? So to try and get at this problem, in the past, platforms have partnered with social scientists as well as with people researching data ethics like me to try to figure out ways to study elections ethically on the platform. And this has led to some really cool work that involved, for instance, consented studies where people opted in and said, yes, it's okay to look at what I'm looking at online, to track my clicks, maybe even to track to see if I voted. It's okay to do all of that so that we better understand how these platforms might influence the outcome of elections. But it turns out that doing that kind of work where we worked very directly with the platform and with the social scientists was really time consuming and really expensive. But newer efforts like the Research Accelerator at Princeton University are trying to create a shared infrastructure that would make some of that research more accessible, some of that data more accessible to researchers, but would also provide a shared ethical framework so that researchers aren't accessing data in ways that would violate people's expectations or put communities or individuals at risk. So, as you're debating the election online this year, it's worth thinking a little bit about your own expectations. Did you know that people are perhaps studying you and studying your platform use? When would you be okay with that? And what should researchers be doing to ensure that the kinds of research that we're doing is okay with you?
#InfoLection 2024.